Hi there, good noon and welcome to yet another practice session where you and I get to sit down together and take over some CAT questions, some questions that are going to hopefully prepare us better for what comes ahead, right? So here we are with the 11th session in this particular series. And before I go ahead and talk about the questions, here is something that I want you to spare a moment for. Read it, think it over, and tell me what it tells you. So, I believe dreams are important. I believe goals are important. At the same time, I also very firmly believe that it all eventually boils down to working hard. And if we don't do that, then it creates a bit of an issue for us. So do be mindful of that when you work. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our questions now. So the directions for the first four. Reading comprehension, where all I want you to do is read a passage and answer the questions that follow. So are we ready for it? So a passage along with a few more varieties. Here you go. So I'll take you through a passage paragraph by paragraph. Once you are done reading it, let me know that you're done and I will take you over to the next slide. Here is the first one. Okay, taking you over to the next. Okay, once again, moving over to the next paragraph. And the next one, this is the last paragraph. Okay, and here is the first question based on this passage for you to dive into. So, what do you think should the answer be? Hmm. And I'll emphasize one part. When you say can be, it means that it is not a direct question. The reason will not be present in the passage. And when the reason is not present in the passage, in a way, the question becomes an identify the assumption question. So, which of the following can be the basis for this particular action? Okay, so Saurabh, I'm just putting a part of the question in the brackets. Now, do you think option B answers this particular part? Why did the Union Commerce Ministry submitted it? If you look at C, e-commerce industry is already growing. In fact, even the projections are very rosy. And if anything, the policy appears to bring in some curbs, appears to increase their costs. It may even deter their growth. So will C be all right? Is that the focus of the policy? Is it removing the obstacles from their world, or is it tempering their growth according to the passage? So as you can see, B does not answer by the Union Commerce Ministry. C actually goes against what is stated in the passage. It is not done for the growth of electronic commerce. It is done to ensure parity, and as a result they are doing things which can temper their growth. So B and C can be eliminated. A, on the other hand, is going to work out very well, and thus should be our answer. Country's economy, Commerce Minister. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and dive into our next question. This is going to be easy for most of you. Okay, Vedant, Shivani, absolutely spot on. The correct answer here is indeed option A. This is something that is more or less a specific detailed question. I think even a superficial reading of the passage can lead us to A. And with that, let's dive into our third question. So you'll find this part mentioned in the third paragraph, if I'm not mistaken. You can go back, reread that relevant part, look at the immediate context, and then maybe answer. Okay, so shall we? All right, so this is a question that can actually be answered on the basis of vocabulary itself. Sunset clause is a provision in law that basically says that this clause will automatically be terminated after a fixed period unless we extend it further by law. And going by that, you can very clearly see that B basically gives you a verbatim reproduction of what the dictionary tells us, and therefore should be the answer. In fact, if you read the context carefully, let me take you back to the paragraph and we check. See this? This concern was also a hint towards what sunset clause is. So there is this connection here as well. If you interpret it in a context, you would probably be able to do a better job. It obviously did not go ahead and talk about, say, we've also picked up D. So D says will be terminated on its own when there is no profitable result. No, it is not about profitability. It's a fixed time period. Irrespective of whether you're profitable or not, the law will cease to, that clause will cease to be enforced. Okay, and here is the last question based on the passage, the most suitable title question. Okay, so the correct answer to question number 4, I think the best answer to question number 4 should be option C. So if I look at A, discounting logic on e-commerce policy, it is something that is mentioned, but that is really narrow. Discounts are only one of the things that are mentioned. E-commerce as the future of retail sector is not at all the focus of the passage, so easy to rule out. Government's efforts for e-commerce, no, it is about a policy that they are making that is in fact going to temper their growth and could even be harmful, and therefore D can also be eliminated. So this is one of the passages where you have gone through all the different types of questions. So you have an overview based question, you had a reasoning based question, you had a specific detail question, you had a vocabulary based question. I think if I added maybe a pure comprehension based question, say something like idea restatement, that would have completed it thoroughly. Then we would have touched upon every conceivable aspect that we can go ahead and judge you on. So that's about the passage. Here is your question number 5. Question number 5, you please don't forget to read the directions, but once you read them, you'd realize that it is a Parajumble. Okay, so read the 4 sentences and form a paragraph out of the 4. Here are the sentences for you. Okay. So let's start highlighting some things. So just look at 2 and 3. 2 is talking about man became interested. Third is talking about interest shifted. Just on the basis of these two, I can say that 3 should come after 2 and not before 2. Look at first. First says Mendel. Third says Gregor Mendel. So I also know that 1 should come after 3. Look at fourth. Fourth says this interest was centered on man's phylogenetic origins. Now this interest can either refer to 2 or refer to 3, but 3 says interest shifted to ontogenetic. Fourth is saying interest was centered on phylogenetic, so it cannot follow 3, it has to follow 2. Right? So the moment you combine all of these, what do you get? You will get 2, 4, 3, 1. Okay. So we just treat it as a puzzle. We try to fit various puzzle pieces wherever we can and be done with it. So Vedant, you were very close. Huh? You identified 2 plus 4. You identified 3 coming before 1. I think this is probably the only clue, interest shifted, that you missed out on. Had you picked this up, I'm sure you would have arranged both of those pairs perfectly. So that's your Parajumble. Here is the next question. So a question where you are asked to identify the odd one out, and here is the question. So I'll write it here for those of you who are joining in between. It is a paragraph, odd one out. Okay, so let's start thinking over this particular question together. Now, it is not an easy question. It's tricky, but if you just focus on forming pairs, that should help. So look at fifth. Both contributions represented important developments. Which both contributions? The contributions are mentioned in second. So 2 and 5 can be connected, and because they can be connected, we can rule these two out. Similarly, if you read it further, 4 talks about God is the total and efficient cause of motion in the universe. Now look at first, hence bodies are incapable of self-movement. So this hence in first tells you it is a conclusion. A conclusion is always based on a premise. So out of the remaining 4, sentence 4 can act as a premise for sentence 1. So we can rule out these two as well. So what does that leave us with? Sentence 3. 2 and 5 are connected, 4 and 1 are connected. We'll not be able to take out any one of those. So that helps us arrive at 3 as our answer. Moreover, even if you look at it, it talks about Descartes. Descartes has not been mentioned in any of the other sentences. The other sentences are more about Legrand. So that also supports the notion that third should be the odd one out here. Okay, so sentence 3 it is, but as I said, not an easy question, very demanding. It is what it is. So here are the next two. I'll give you a paragraph. The paragraph will be followed by 4 summaries. Your job is to pick up the best summary of the paragraph, starting with the first. So read this paragraph once and then I will take you over to the answer choices. Okay, so here are the options. Okay, so I see Saurabh and Vedant, I'm absolutely with you on this. The correct answer is indeed D. We can just eliminate this is not mentioned, this is not mentioned. Okay, and C is very narrow, where it does not go ahead and talk about a lot of those other things. Sorry. It is just a sec. My phone is not even near me. I'll just put it on silent and then join you again. I normally put that on silent, but then there are days when you tend to forget. Okay, here is the next one. Hey, this question looks familiar. I may have taken it up recently in some session somewhere. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so here are the options, and you tell me which one of these is going to be the best one. Okay, so I think if we start looking at this, I will probably, where did the chat go? Here we are. Pros and cons are not mentioned. Capitalism favors a particular approach is again not mentioned. So B and D are bringing in some additional information, can be ruled out. And even here, when you say fairer broad-based approach, these two approaches have been talked about, but the paragraph does not favor one approach over the other. So that basically leaves you with A versus C. And this is a clincher for C. We do not necessarily know that they are capitalist models, but there is a possibility, whereas A makes it definitive. A simply talks about these as examples, or in fact, A also says multiple such as. So they appear to be two of the various approaches, which is again something that the paragraph won't back. Slight distortion at two different levels, and therefore we'll prefer C over A. So that's about para summary. And as usual, I said that I'm not going to abandon grammar and vocabulary at all. These questions may not be asked directly in the CAT, but they are important for all the non-CAT exams, and I do not want you to be underprepared for any of those. In fact, the first exam of the season happens to be NMAT, where these things do get asked. Okay, so for question number 9 to 12, it won't even take you guys long. In every question, all I want you to do is just read the directions that are provided and answer the questions. More or less, that's it, right? So how is your vocab preparation shaping up otherwise? How is it going at your end? कैसी चल रही है आपकी vocab और grammar की तैयारी? अच्छी, ठीक ठाक, ignored? How is it going? And would you need more inputs on that or anything along those lines? So anyhow, I think कैसी चल रही है वो तो अभी वैसे ही पता चल जाएगा. Let's see. So here is your question number 9. Give me the most appropriate antonym of the given word. Here is the word along with the options, and your time starts now. Okay, so the word given to you is smattering, and smattering basically means a small amount of something. Okay, a small amount. So as you can see, calmness is not going to be an antonym. Emphasis, no. Handful once again means a small number or a small amount, but plenty actually means a large number or a large amount, and therefore D should be our answer for this particular question. And here is your question number 10. Go ahead and give me the answer quickly. Use it or go through it with the process of elimination, and you should be in a great state. Okay, so contusion. The meaning of contusion is an injury that does not really break your skin, that does not penetrate into the skin, but results in some bruising, some discoloration, so that's called a contusion. So we are looking for an antonym. Can it be beautify? I don't know. Contort. Contort is to twist something or turn something and they make it out of shape. Deform is to make something formless. Tragedy we all know. So I think if I use the process of elimination, then the word which is farthest from contusion will be beautify, because in contusion we are damaging something, making it discolored, and it may look not pretty, right? Who likes to see all the contusions? But beautify in the context is going to be the best answer for us, right? Here is the next one. So this time around, select the incorrectly spelled words. Okay, so the correct answer here is option D. And it is option D because the correct spelling of misspell is with a double S. So misspell. The other three are absolutely all right. So, mischievous, miniature, hopefully, metamorphic is related to metamorphosis, and metamorphosis basically means a huge, a major, a big change. Okay, and here comes another one along the same lines. Give me the incorrectly spelled word of the 4 that you see here. Go through these carefully and share your answer. Okay, so the correct answer for question number 12 is option C. Willful is spelt with a single S here and not a double S, and therefore we'd go ahead and choose that or mark that. Fruitful means fertile or something that leads to a positive outcome. Unction. Unction is a strong show of emotions, especially a show of those emotions which are not sincere. And cradle. Cradle is a baby's bed, a bed for an infant or a cot for an infant, typically the one which is mounted on rockers. Okay, so that's question number 12, and that's what I had brought for you today. Before you sign out, don't forget to like this session, and oh, my bad, I accidentally ended up putting in some other slide here, or so it seems. And do know that we have a very comprehensive CAT program. This program has given amazing results in the past, and you can definitely contemplate joining this particular program. We happen to have our scholarship test taking place on, I think, 10th of March. So you can actually go ahead and attend that, and that can really add a lot more. And in case you need to reach out to us, you need to talk to us one-on-one, you can fill up this form and we'd be with you, and we'd be more than happy to discuss your preparation plan, preparation strategy, everything. So that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you guys real soon in the next session. Until then, keep working hard, and do remember that we are just a message away. You can reach us using any of these platforms, right? So have a great day ahead. Until I see you next, take care. Don't forget to like the video.